fourth. The following month he meets Mark Devon, a former UKIP activist who is now head of research at the neo-Nazi BNP, and the editor of Mindbenders, a supposed exposé of Jews in the media. Farage is seeking compromising information on UKIP leader Alan Sked in an effort to oust him. A photo shows Farage and Devon at the meeting, along with Tony Leckermer, a BNP member who served 3 years in prison for handling explosives in an attempt to bomb a left-wing group. Leckermer was given another 3 years for stabbing a Jewish schoolteacher who had been trying to remove a BNP sticker on the Underground. 1999. Farage is elected to the European Parliament as MEP for South East England. He soon identifies how an unscrupulous MEP could abuse the expenses system in Brussels.
But if you used the secretarial allowances to pay your wife, on top of all the other games that you could play, I reckon this job in sterling terms is worth over £250,000 a year to you.
He will soon be putting his observations into practice as he becomes embroiled in a series of expenses scandals. 2001, he runs as UKIP candidate in Bexhill and Battle, coming fourth. 2005, he runs as UKIP candidate for South Thanet, coming fourth. 2006, he runs as UKIP candidate in the Bromley and Chislehurst by-election, coming third. 6 months later, he becomes leader of UKIP for the first time. April 2010.
UKIP MEP Nigel Farage admitted that he has taken £2 million of taxpayers' money and expenses, employs his wife to run his office, paid from his allowances, and is hoping to become an MP at the next election. Well, he certainly ticks all the boxes.
Do we get right a reply here?
Yes.
The money didn't go to me.
Wasn't it for your party and your offices?
Didn't go to me, it went to employees.
May 2010, at the general election he stands in Buckingham, coming third behind a candidate championed by a dolphin. 2012, he advocates for the dismantling of the NHS.
And I think we're going to have to move to an insurance-based system of healthcare.
May 2013, he makes a speech to the European Council condemning tax avoidance and tax havens, citing the Channel Islands, the Caymans and the Isle of Man. June 2013, the Mirror reports that Farage opened an offshore trust fund on the Isle of Man to slash his tax bill. When reporters exposed the scheme, Farage describes it as a mistake, saying, "Things that we thought were absolutely fair practice 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago aren't anymore." September 2013. Reiterating his opposition to gay marriage, he says it would be profoundly illiberal. His defence of the sanctity of heterosexual matrimony does not, however, extend to his own marriage. In March 2014, The Telegraph reports that Farage employs his second wife, with whom he had an affair while previously married, on a salary of up to £20,000, using the EU Parliamentary Assistance Allowance, while also using the same allowance to pay a woman as a local assistant in the UKIP press office in London, with whom he's had more than a decade-long affair. Farage tells the media the claim of an affair is not true. In reality, he's lying. By now, he has appeared on the Kremlin-owned Russia Today TV channel 17 times between 2010 and 2014. Farage is clear about his admiration for the Russian president.
I was asked a couple of months ago, which world leader did I admire? And I said Vladimir Putin as an operator.
May 2014. By now, Farage is joint leader of the group Europe of Freedom and Democracy, alongside Italian far-right leader Francesco Speroni of the Lega Nord party. Speroni has defended Anders Breivik, the Norwegian far-right terrorist who killed 77 people, including dozens of children, in an attack in 2011.
He described Anders Breivik as someone whose ideas are in defence of Western civilization.
No, he didn't, actually. He didn't. One of his members did, and we kicked him out of the group.
No, you're thinking of Maria Borghesio, who went further and said in a radio interview that Breivik had some excellent ideas. But Speroni himself, who is your co-chair of this group, said that Breivik's ideas are in defence of Western civilization.
September 2014. Addressing the European Parliament in Strasbourg, he defends Putin against what he sees as attacks by the EU and NATO.
The unnecessary provocation of Vladimir Putin. If you poke the Russian bear with a stick, don't be surprised when he reacts.
May 2015. He runs as UKIP candidate in South Thanet, coming second. June 2016. With just days to go before the EU referendum, Farage unveils his now infamous Breaking Point poster. It immediately draws comparisons with similar imagery used by the Nazis in Germany. Even prominent Brexiteer Michael Gove says he shuddered when he saw the poster. Leave wins the EU referendum. Farage resigns as UKIP leader. October 2016. He defends Donald Trump's obscene remarks about groping women.
You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the pussy.
Farage downplays the comments, claiming men commonly use Trump's language.
It's the kind of thing, if we're being honest, that men do.
November 2016. He's less charitable about Barack Obama.
That Obama creature said, loathsome individual.
February 2017, Farage is endorsed for the job of Prime Minister by David Duke, former Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. March 2017, Farage appears on Russian state TV channel RT, where he's knighted by a 6-year-old girl, after which the little girl tells him,
"My mummy says you hate foreigners."
No, little girl, no.
September 2017, Farage is invited by the granddaughter of Adolf Hitler's finance minister to address the German far-right AfD party at an election rally. He receives a standing ovation. January 2018, Farage is docked half his monthly MEP salary after the European Parliament alleges he misspent public funds intended for staffing his office. May 2018, UKIP allied group, the Alliance for Direct Democracy, is told to repay €1.1 million to the European Parliament following an investigation into the alleged misspending of taxpayers' money, including on Farage's failed bid to become an MP in the 2015 UK general election. February 2019, Farage's new Brexit party is registered with the Electoral Commission. March 2019, he's photographed with notorious misogynist Andrew Tate, who was thrown off Big Brother after footage emerged of him hitting a woman with a belt. Tate will later be arrested in Romania on suspicion of people trafficking. May 2019, it is reported that Farage has appeared on Alex Jones's far-right US talk show InfoWars at least 6 times dating from 2009 to 2018. Numerous appearances came after Jones began a campaign of harassment against the parents of 5- and 6-year-old children killed in the Sandy Hook school shooting in 2012. October 2020. With Trump seeking a second term as US president, Farage turns up at a rally in Arizona just days before the election to offer his unequivocal support.
This is the single most resilient and bravest person I have ever met in my life.
November 2020. The Brexit Party is renamed Reform UK. February 2022, he blames the EU and NATO for Putin's invasion of Ukraine, earning support from the Russian state TV channel RT. March 2022, he complains about the government sanctioning Russian oligarchs.
And my question was, where's the due process? But it's happened anyway, hasn't it?
June 2023. He claims his bank account has been cancelled because of serious political persecution. It soon transpires that man of the people Farage has his account with elite establishment bank Coutts, which counts the royal family amongst its clients. An internal Coutts report on Farage states, at best he is seen as xenophobic and pandering to racists, and at worst he is seen as xenophobic and racist. He is considered by many to be a disingenuous grifter. Fortunately for Farage, there is legislation protecting bank account holders from discrimination based on political beliefs, if indeed that's what's really happened. The law in question has been retained by the UK, but it was originally passed by the European Union.